To everyone who was hoping that Follow was about to die, y'all can eat shit. I told you guys that this could go one of several ways, and it went the way that I assumed it would go, and that was a Follow backstory into what's potentially going to be a Jinky reveal in the coming chapters. But this chapter definitely has some things that I didn't really expect to see in it. Like, for instance, these cleaners whom we've yet to meet but had a sick-ass sight, and not to mention a peek into what caused his trauma and distrust with the cleaners in the first place, which we will get into later. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? DomoSenpai here, and today we'll be going through chapter 124 of Gachiakuta, and if y'all are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, make sure y'all go down below, hit the link in the description, or that big ass red subscribe button that you see underneath the video. This is free, by the way. Just had to make sure I threw that out there, bro. Subscribing is completely free, so make sure y'all tell y'all homies to tell their homies and whatnot. Anyway, enough dawdling around. Y'all already know what time it is. I tried to tell y'all, bro. I tried to tell y'all that this was the route we were going. But to be honest, I really do think it was better off this way, because to kill off Follow in that fashion while he's still in the building phase would be quite the waste in my opinion. So for Gachiakuta to not only keep him around, but let us peer into his backstory, I really appreciated that. This chapter helped us understand a bit of Follow's preconceptions about the cleaners, and at least for what she's setting up for, not only the reason for his PTSD, but also how he eventually acquired the hammer. And we all know this leads to his eventual awakening, but there's something I'm even more curious about moving forward, but I'll wait till later to explain that in totality. Follow ends up pulling his hammer back up, and as he realized that he was seriously wounded, he passed out. It was from that moment on that we took a peek into Follow's past, and boy does that give us a lot of information. He ends up meeting up with this girl, and as we could tell, Follow digs her. But as soon as his other homie pulls up and does some outlandish shit like eating the snow, he realized that his friend was something he wished he could be. One of the things that we learned in the midst of this debacle was that Follow is from the North Ward, and apparently snow only falls in that ward, which is interesting to say the least. They say it's toxic, but is that really the case? To me, it seems like this was a lie passed down so they don't interfere with the snow's purity, but who knows? Maybe I'm just throwing shit at the wall. Anyway, another thing to note is that I'm not sure if this was Gachiakuta doing this because she didn't feel like it, or maybe it's a play on Follow's mental. But did y'all notice how Follow omitted their names this entire time? It was always that guy, and for the female counterpart, it was you. Again, I could be grasping at straws here, but based on Follow's character, it seemed like this would be right up his alley. But as I mentioned earlier, this was Follow's first experience with envy and being passive aggressive. He envied his friend because he continued to ask himself, what can I do to be that cool? Right? It always starts off like, oh, I look up to this guy, and then you see them more often doing things that you wish you could be doing, and depending on your personality, you start to adopt that, well, why can't I be that? Why am I the way I am? From what we've gathered as far as about Follow, that's what we kind of see with him. We then shift over to his friend telling us about how he ended up acquiring the hammer. He went into the polluted zone, and of course Follow, whom at this point was Mr. by the books, started telling him about how dangerous it was and that grown-ups don't go near this place, and his homie told him straight up like, bro, no one cares. I went there to prove it doesn't kill you. He then says he thought he was gonna die because the mask he wore didn't provide any protection from the pollution. The irony in that made me laugh a little harder than I thought I was going to. By the way, the fact that he was wearing a luchador mask was fucking hilarious. It all reminds me of an adventure with Captain Underpants, but I digress. It was at this point that he was saved by the cleaners, and man, when I say I was looking at every detail of those cleaners to see if I noticed anything that I could relate back to the current roster, yeah, I got nothing. I couldn't pull nothing from that. What I did pull from it was the fact that, man, that dude had a cool ass looking scythe. And the shorty on the team had a meat cleaver, which I don't know about y'all, but this team looks like it just pulls up and gets shit done, right? They cause hell. As Follow's friend continues to explain his story and about him wanting to be a cleaner, the envy builds up in our little Follow. He wants to reach him. He wants to follow him. Never mind. He wants to be at that level of cool. We then get to a time skip of Follow meeting up with their female homie. And as the conversation goes, you begin to notice that Follow is being insanely passive aggressive, which you can literally relate to what's going on now. He muttered to himself, "You never want to see me unless it's about him," which throws the friend off, and Follow shrugs that off by saying, "Nothing. I haven't seen him. He said he was going to train. That's the last I heard of him." I've been saying this about Follow for the longest time, but the way he views people is what caused those specific perspective shots of what seems like people being rude to him. And that's how I point back to Rudo, because for the longest time, all I've heard was, "Stop blaming Follow. Rudo was being rude to him." And it's like, bro, do y'all not understand that Kate Udana purposefully made us look at it from Follow's perspective of cleaners being warped? You do know that that caused the sense of miscommunication, right? And even on Rudo's end, we know he's not the best at making facial expressions. This backstory clarifies so much of what I had already thought, but we could get into that backstory stuff in another video, or you can go watch my other video about it. We then catch wind that a trash beast is in the area and everybody should take shelter. And as soon as they were going to take shelter, Follow ends up hearing that there was a boy with a hammer defending against the trash beast and he was injured. Follow understood in that moment that his friend was in danger, and that's how the chapter ends. I know a lot of people are going to call this a snooze fest because it has to deal with Follow. And a lot of y'all on social media don't like Follow. But I always appreciate backstories for minor characters who play a role and are vital in the growth of our main characters. But I can understand the uncertainty because when it's done well, it's done really, really well. But when it's not that good, it's really, really not that good. But in this instance, I think it's being handled with the utmost care, which is also an important theme of Gachiakuta. I really like where this is going because it's going to strengthen Follow's resolve and eventually awaken his Jinky. He's going to have to come to terms with a lot of things. And I think we're probably going to get a visual of Rudo at some point in this backstory because that's how backstories usually happen in manga. So I really can't wait to see that. But I kind of want to jump into a topic I said I was going to bring up earlier. And since we are at the end of the video, I think this is a better time than any. For anyone who's read lots of manga and just books in general, we all know that Follow and Rudo are eventually going to reconcile and solve this misconception. More than likely, this will lead to what I mentioned in a previous video about Follow becoming one of Rudo's most important assets. Make sure y'all go check that video out when you have time. But with all of that being said, y'all think this is going to spark Tomsy to want to kill him? To be honest, I think that makes the most sense in this instance because we all know that there's no way he's going to go after Zanka, Engine, or Rio with them being directly under Corvus. So why not take advantage of the friendship that is budding right now and eventually clip it when it matters most? If you're aiming to hit the fan base directly in the sternum, that would be the best time to strike. Anyway, just wanted to offer that idea up to y'all and see what y'all think. But that'll do it for this video. If there was anything that I missed that you thought I should have covered, make sure y'all let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. It's been a fucking huge day with the reveal of Rudo's PV for the Gachiakuta anime, and not to mention some of the things I'm trying to get done in the background. Anime Japan 2025 is a few months away, so with that in mind, y'all know we gotta grind till we can't grind no more, and we gotta shine till we can't shine no more. I forgot where I got those lyrics from. If anybody remembers, let me know in the comment section. Thank y'all for continuing to come through and support your boy. It truly means the world to me, more than y'all would ever know. Don't forget though, subscribing is mad free, so help your boy get to 10,000 subscribers, baby. Once we get there, I feel like things will come to blossom for Senpai's realm and the crew. But I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all enjoy y'all morning, afternoon, or night, wherever y'all are. I'm DomoSenpai, and I will catch you guys in the next video.